So I have these papers in my stash of papers that I've had for a long time. This is mulberry paper with lavender infused in it. And then this is just some hand-dyed paper. It's ash or kind of charcoal gray color. I like the word ash. So anyways, this is another piece of it so you can see how it does differ from page to page. And so I got into my stash drawer, my paper stash drawer, and started pulling some different papers out and found that it was lots of fun. So let me show you a few of the ones that I did. This one, and I don't usually spend the time adding other papers in, number one, because of the time, but number two, I'm such a purist and I love the plant stained papers and the plant dyed papers. So those are usually the only two papers that I add into my books. But, you know, I'm in recovery this week, for the next several weeks after having brain surgery, and I'm not working per se. I'm just kind of having some fun. I prepped some books to stitch before surgery so I could carry them into my comfy spots and snuggle up with the pup and just stitch some books. And so when I did that, I pulled out some of those papers. So let me show you some that I stitched up this week. So I love this. This is a hydrangea eucalyptus. And I could spend hours just telling you what each of the little plant elements are, but I want to show you the altered papers. But oh my gosh, isn't that gorgeous? This is a gorgeous book. Gorgeous, gorgeous book. So sometimes I put in these little, I don't know, they're little support pages. If sometimes the paper is a little weak, so I'll put in a little support right there. I don't really consider it a flaw because everything is handmade and these papers have boiled for hours. So, and they're gorgeous. And so I want to use them. So I just have found ways to alter a little bit so that that works. Look at those. And then after you have this nice assortment of plant stained papers, I get into the ash paper. And I'll show you in my own journal I've been working on how much I love this paper to work on. Look at this. And I went on the sewing machine and hand stitched some elements in there. This is a white cotton paper that I also had. I love the way that, you know, the pages now have some interaction going on. You can flip things around. Look how pretty that is with that ash paper. Oh my gosh, I just think that that is gorgeous. I haven't named any of these journals yet. But look at that. I am the keeper of my serenity. Put that in. I forgot I put that in. This is actually a journal that I'm going to put in the shop when I take some formal pictures of it. Look how pretty that is. That's a palm fern, palm leaf. Oops. But yeah, I love, love, love that altered paper. So this one was full of the charcoal ash paper alongside the plant stained papers. And yeah, I tied them up with a faux suede tie here. So this one, I made two that was quite altered. I call these two Frankenstein's Bride. And the reason why, you'll see in a minute, I have Halloween on my mind, which I'm not a big Halloween fan, but I was doing some pumpkins and stitched some owls and all that, so I have some Halloween on my mind. I love this little dangle. Actually, I used to put the dangles, or I do still sometimes put the dangles on the spine, but then I found that when I open the books to work on, those dangles are right there. So I thought, oh, well, I'll put them on the tie so that when they loop around, it still hangs on that side, but that way the tie is out of my way when I'm working on it. You know, sometimes it takes me years to get to something, an eureka moment like that. Again, plant stain papers. I see so much imagery. Look at that. That's like angel wings right there. This is a bookmark that I just kind of stashed in there. It's tied. You'll see it's tied onto one of the pages. So this is plant dyed paper that I do. And this is where you'll see some of my altered pages go on. So again, I put in these little kind of reinforcements because I was putting these cords. This is a waxed linen thread that's going across, and it's meant for you to, you know, just add some other papers in there. I've got a couple in there started for you. And here's the center, and then here's another altered page that has that ash paper on there. Let's go ahead and put this. This bookmark is just tied. It's attached to the book. You can't get it out, but you can flip it to any page. Let me put that back in there. And I love these folded papers. So that one. And look how pretty. I mean, these are just gorgeous stains. I love this. It's very jungle-esque, this one. I love it. And again, there's that little tie goes right there. So you can see it's kind of in the middle, or the spine. And then I just kind of loop that through, take that piece, and I don't know, I just have some fun with these ties. I never tie them the same way twice. And I found that I really like the tie, especially this last one I'll show you that is mine that I've been working on, my recovery journal I call it. I've carried it everywhere, and the tie really helps to keep things together that I've stuck inside the pages. All right, so here's another altered one. This one has a little bit more alterations going on, and this purple faux suede tie, which is so pretty, of course. And again, the foo-foo is on the tie, so I can move it away, or whoever this journal calls can move it away and work on the journal without it causing any issues. This is actually meant to be the bookmark. So it's tied in. I'll show you where it's tied in a minute. It has this neat little ring on there, and then it's a braided cord of different fibers. Hydrangea leaf, daisies, zinnias, eucalyptus, just all kinds of beautiful. It's a potato plant leaf. Then you get into the plant dyed. So I hand dyed these papers. The ash papers and the mulberry papers I did not make. So that was one of the other reasons why I don't always add other papers in it, because usually the books are just of papers that I've done. But look how pretty that is. And then it's tied in through the stitches with this feather, or this, oh, I can't remember what they're called. That's a fiber, eyelash, that's what it's called, eyelash fiber, eyelash yarn. And those are stitched together. I love it. Just with one little stitch. And then I have this reinforcement here. And again, this is why I call it Frankenstein's Bride, because for some reason that makes me think of bandages. I don't know. I just, something crazy. My brain's recovering right now, so it's crazy. But I love this. I put in this little guy. There's an eyelet right there. And I don't like, or the brads, I don't like the wings of the back of the brads to show. So I always cover them up in some way. This part is multi-layered, and the bookmark that I showed you from the beginning is actually attached to that page, and then that can be put wherever. Here's another one. Now this paper, honestly, it split. As I was stitching, this plant dyed paper is a little bit more fragile than the plant stained paper, which is interesting. It's the same paper, but the process is different. And so I found that the process for plant dyeing paper really kind of beats up my paper a little bit more. But I love it so much that I just do it anyways. And then I find ways to include it. And so this is how I did this one. I crisscrossed this ash paper and the plant stain paper to make these little bandages, so to say. I've got this flip paper in there. I absolutely love it. I just think I have this thing about interactive pages anyways. It's something that since I started bookmaking in 8th grade, and I remember 8th grade because I took a special club. I was part of a club at my school that we did bookmaking. I was such a nerd. Anyways, I always have made interactive books. I just think they're so much fun. Here's another ash page, and then these mulberry papers open up, and just so fun. And here we go back into the plant dyed or the plant stained papers. So the difference between plant dyed, so these are just, these papers are dyed with plant, some dried plants, some herbs, some different plants. And I'm working on, well, I was working on, and now I'll have to pick that up again when I recover. I'm working on a class to teach this. It's really hard to explain how I do this, but it is done differently than plant stained. Plant stained, you've seen me show you how I take flowers and leaves and herbs and everything else and design papers with them and then press them and boil them together. And that's how I get these stains. When I peel those plants off, I get those stains. Plant dyed papers, I do a different way because I just want that dyeing designs, and it presents so much imagery. In fact, I'm going to go grab my journal that I've been working on to show you the imagery that I've been playing. But anyways, I love this, and I love the way that bookmark is there, and then I'm going to wrap it. And a lot of times I don't do things that are so bold against the natural pages of the, oh, somehow I twisted that, didn't I? Against the plant stained papers. But obviously I always love purple. You can never have too much purple. And I just think the natural fibers are so complementary to the books. So, and I'm just going to try to twist that up there. And so that's, again, I don't have any names for these. I jokingly was calling them Frankenstein's Bride, but here is, this is very different for me. In over 15, almost 20 years, I've been making plant stained papers. I have never included printed papers in my journals. And I had this stash of beautiful hand printed, hand dyed, hand painted papers. And they just went perfectly with this. So first of all, the shades of this is phenomenal. So the plums on that white, it's just absolutely gorgeous. And it has this very ethereal, fairy-esque. And then I put the mulberry paper in, which I showed you that, and I did make it a little bit interesting. So there's some fold outs. And, oh, I love it. There's a lot of imagery in these pages too. And then I went into this. Now, again, pretty bold, but isn't it just phenomenal? So these painted papers, and here's some raspberry mulberry paper. And I've been holding that in my stash for a while. Look at this paper. So this is a mulberry paper as well, and it's folded. There's like a little pocket in there that you can stick some treasures in, some quotes that you might find on tea bag tags or wherever. And then, so these are put in as just some fun stitched pages. And a lot of times I just love them so much. And a lot of times I'll like slide something into those little pockets, and so pretty. I don't know. What do you think? I just think it's gorgeous. I don't usually do it because, again, I'm such a purist. Look at that plant stain. And I just love the plant stain paper so much. But when you see something that works, like this worked, I mean, how can you not, right? Gorgeous. So, yep, quite the beauty. This one has to have a fairy name. I'll have to figure out what that fairy name is going to be. And so pretty. So I've been showing some different excerpts of me working in this journal, and it's going to get to a point where I'm not going to show it anymore, because when I start to do writing, I feel like that's just really personal to me. And so I don't show a lot of my journals that I have written in because it is so personal. But yeah, here's another foo-foo. And I had this was actually had just done this, and then I found this when I was going through some beads yesterday, and it was something I had concocted for something else and somehow took off. Anyways, it's an old vintage, it's a vintage pen and an owl, of course, and some beads and some flowers. So anyways, it's so pretty. And I can have that on there, but again, move it away when I'm working on it. So yeah, this is I call this my recovery journal. Look how thick it is. I figure I am supposed to be resting and recovering for about 6 to 8 weeks. So I wanted to have a lot of pages in there, even if I don't finish it by the end of that time. But I wanted to also put in a lot of pictures. And the idea, my sweet hubby, I love him so much. The idea with the pictures, and you'll see they are of me and they're my family and all that, but they're encouragement. So they're encouragement for me to move forward and move towards energy and creativity and that kind of thing. And I don't know if you can see, some of these are just pencil. I do a lot of pencil drawing, especially in my plant stain papers. I really love sketching. I've just done it all my life. And yes, I teach watercolor and all that. And I actually don't teach specifically sketching. I guess I could start some of those classes. I always have sketching in my watercolor classes. But I taught a lot of in-person sketching classes. I just haven't taught any online, charcoal and all that. Maybe I'll pull out, maybe I'll do some of that. It's been a long time since I have taught anything but watercolor online or a little bit of mixed media. So isn't she crazy? So a lot of what you see is imagery that I've seen in the plant stain papers or the plant dyed papers. My sweet girls, young women, my daughters. Owl in all kinds of different languages. Here's another one of those. You can see one of those reinforced tabs. My sons, so I have 2 daughters and 2 sons. I don't know if you can see, this is one that I started working on at my wound check the other day, and I still have a lot more to do on them, but they're like these Victorian or Venetian maybe women, and they have in their big hair. This one has like fire-breathing dragon. This one has a sweet little unicorn pup in there. My sweet family, my son and beautiful daughter in love. And our grandbaby Willow. Is she not adorable? And then again, I have some pictures of me that just kind of inspire me to get to where I want, to get back to where I want to go. Here's my Buddha and some beautiful flowers that my hubby got. And then Scarlet, her little paw prints on these bookmarks. And these flip out so I can put stuff behind them. This is actually one of her paw prints that didn't work so well, but I kept that in there. This ash paper is beautiful and it works so well with watercolors, but I also used my creamy oil pastels on this. And I'm actually formulating a class right now, which is creamy oil pastels, and we'll be using that paper as well. Look, this was right before my surgery. My sweet little Willow. I did some wax seal with a little elephant charm in there, and my elephant stamp. I watched the special that showed Cher rescuing the Pakistani elephant Kavan, and I was going to write about that because that was very moving and powerful. Little peacock feather in there. Again, interactive. Look, that opens there, that opens there, and then this flips over. My sweet family in Washington, D.C. last year, seeing Van Gogh, and a sticker that Carly bought me right before my surgery, and then we went to Foxtail Coffee the other day, and it's a picture of my wedding rings reinvented. I had lost my diamond about 10, 12 years ago, and last Christmas, we always talked about replacing it with an amethyst. And last Christmas, my husband surprised me and had it replaced with an amethyst, and I absolutely love it. There I am teaching clay at the Polk Museum of Art. Again, inspiration to move me forward, and this has also inspired yet another class. I'm resting and recovering, but I am working now on lesson plans for 3 different classes, plus adding to one that I had already worked on. Love this picture. My bohemian feet and Birkenstocks on the fall leaves. That was in North Carolina last year. How pretty that is. So I do love the mulberry paper with the plant stain paper. I've found that it's just a combination that I'm just in love with so much. And my mom and our daughter-in-law at her baby shower, and Carly and me. And then these are owls. Looking, and this is elephant poo-poo paper that I stuck in here. Haven't written on anything yet, but I cut these owls out. They're photographs, and I cut the owls out. These were sketches that I did for prepping when I was considering what tattoo I was going to get. And I have a whole tattoo story to share about surgery, and it was an amazing experience. So I will share that at some point. I believe this was our first time meeting Willow. And one of my lovely friends sent me some treats just before surgery, and I rolled up the papers that she sent these beautiful scrapbooking papers, and I'm going to write on each one of them. I haven't done that yet, but and put them in there. And then I made a little pocket of her pieces, and then here's a little note I wanted to stick in there too that she gave me, so let me stick that in. And again, I can flip up and write and interact with those pages. Here's the New Year picture I put out. My kids laughed at me because I photoshopped obviously the Happy New Year into the background, and they didn't like it. But we did the background in front of our beige curtains for the outside that lead to outside, and it was an awful background. So anyways, I like the fireworks better. Here they are, my sweet children on our farm that we owned in North Carolina. We had a hobby farm with horses and magical fairy woods and guinea fowl and chickens and all kinds of fun animals. But that was they got to grow up climbing trees. That interactive page. And here's another part of that interactive page. And Renee loved climbing trees. She didn't always like to come down. Chris had to go up and get her numerous times. And again, my Buddha again, but she's holding the heart. This is the heart that my friend sent me, the one who sent me those beautiful papers. This was one of the things that was in there, and it's a crystal heart to hold and feel healing powers in that. Here are pictures of my tattoo. This was the second part of my tattoo, and I never, ever, ever thought I would get a tattoo, and I didn't get a tattoo till I was 52 years old, and I got it. I got the owl part first. I'm going to write that story, but it has a lot to do with my first brain surgery. And then the interesting part was during my second brain surgery, seeing how the nurses and the doctors responded, and it made me more human to them. They actually paused, stopped, talked, while they're prepping and doing all those things that they have to do to your body before you get ready for surgery. And I just thought it was an amazing experience, different than the first time when I was in there without one. So I'm gonna write more about that. This is one of my favorite pictures. My son took this of me. And it says, "Wherever you stand, be the soul of that place." That's the Rumi quote, one of the Rumi quotes I love. Again, my friend who sent me that crystal, and it's a stone. It's a heart stone, I should say. You can see how big it is. It's really large in my hand. And then this vintage pin and it's gorgeous cards. And so many people sent me some beautiful, just so many things. It was just gorgeous. And I always have to have the beach somewhere near me. I am with my daughters. This was the last time they were visiting, or that Renee was here visiting, which was, it was July, actually. So, yeah, it's been, I have a lot to work on. I started sketching this one out. I thought it looked kind of like an elephant at first and then a cow. I don't think you can see any of my pencil lines yet. My husband thought it looked like a horse because there's some ears up there, and this can be the face. And so I haven't quite pulled that out yet. I have a lot of space to work in. And there I'm ending with my hubby again, who is just, oh my God, I love him so much. He's just the rock and a support, and to deal with not one but 2 brain surgeries that I've gone through, and ever the optimist. And I'm saying that sarcastically. He feels like we're not done, but he's there, and he dotes on me and inspires me and indulges me, and just an amazing man. So that is my recovery journal that has some of those other altered papers in it. And I just thought it would be fun to take a spin. So enjoy your coffee for the day. Look at mine, it has some froth in it. This is my lavender vanilla caffeine-free Ticino coffee, and I made it myself this morning. So recovery is looking pretty good. Enjoy your day.